Dun 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 dun. What's going on, guys? I'm Chris, and welcome back to yet another MCU video. Today I'm talking about my top 10 favorite MCU heroes. Now, I do have an MCU tier ranking of all the heroes on the channel. I did that back in the summer with Cam, so the link will be up above for that if you want to check that out with my full thoughts on all the characters. But I've never talked about my top 10, so I'm really excited to do this. WandaVision is here. That's why I'm talking about more MCU content. I'm just in an MCU mood, guys, and there's no shame about it. But if this is your first video, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button. I've got a ton of movie-related content, whether it's reviews, rankings, vlogs, Blu-ray content, all that good stuff. And definitely hit the like button and comment your thoughts or your top 10 favorite MCU heroes down below. But I don't have any honorable mentions. I'm just going to get right into this list, and these are based off my personal preference of my favorite characters. Not the best, just my favorite MCU heroes. There's a lot that I do enjoy that didn't make the list. Trust me, it was hard to make, but without further ado, let's get right into this thing. So coming in at number 10 is going to be Rocket from Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, I really think Bradley Cooper kills it in the voice acting aspect of this. Like, you can't even tell it's Bradley Cooper, but they really make you have, like, emotions for this raccoon robot hybrid. That's all I really have to say. The relationship with him and a tree works so well, with Groot, of course, and something about Rocket has always been like, you know, this guy, they really pulls on the heartstrings. He's a lovable guy. He's a comedic relief of the Guardians, in my opinion, and especially the scene where him and Tony Stark have the interaction, and Tony goes, "At this exact moment, I thought you were a Build-A-Bear." Makes me laugh out loud every single time, but I seriously do think Rocket is one of the top-tier Guardians, but sadly, I think he's going to meet his demise in Guardians 3. Coming in at number 9 is going to be Wanda Maximoff. I would not have put Wanda on this list if I had never seen an episode of WandaVision. Something about her is just intriguing to me, and it could be recency bias. She's just becoming a huge role in the MCU. We already know that she's going to end up losing it and probably be a villain by the end of the show, but still, at the moment, something about her intrigues me. I was thinking back on all the cool moments she's had in the MCU, whether it's the battle on Wakanda, where she kind of saves the different female Avengers, and they all kind of give her respect. And then she could have killed Thanos. Literally, Kevin Feige said, you know, she's the strongest Avenger. I've finally come around to that. For the longest time, I was like, no, it's Doctor Strange or Thor. It's Wanda, guys, and if it's fact. It's a fact that it's Wanda at this point, so I just have to embrace that. Coming in at number 8 for me is going to be Star-Lord, the main man, the cool guy from the Guardians of the Galaxy. Something about Peter Quill walking around with his Walkman I've always been a fan of, and I really enjoyed him from the moment he was just walking around doing his little dance to Come and Get Your Love by Redbone at the opening of Guardians 1. It's always clicked for me, and I just have so much sympathy for this character as we see his mother died at the beginning of the film as a kid, and then we find out his father's a massive a-hole, perhaps the biggest in the galaxy. Did he make a mistake in Infinity War? Absolutely. He could have just laid off, and they could have got the gauntlet, and life would have continued, but then we wouldn't have had Endgame, you know what I mean? So it had to happen. In the heat of the moment, he just had a heat of the moment. Everyone has those. I really like Peter Quill, and I'm excited to see his arc continue, whether that's in Guardians 3 or Thor 4. Coming in at number 7 for me is going to be the master of the mystic art, Doctor Strange, played by Benedict Cumberbatch. Now, the first Doctor Strange movie I think is a really solid origin story. He's kind of like Tony Stark when it comes to being snarky and how them two just butt heads the whole time. Of course, I like Tony Stark more. I think the way that he uses his powers and the hand movements that they have to use has just always been intriguing to me. The visuals are stunning, and of course the portal scene, my gosh, it blows you away. Dormammu, I've come to bargain, and I'm excited to see Multiverse of Madness, to see the role Doctor Strange plays down the road. Coming in at number 6 for me is going to be AntMan, the lovable Scott Lang, played by Paul Rudd, who, in my last MCU video, I said ages like fine wine. I stand by that statement. I think AntMan is the comedic relief, the relaxing, feel-good movies of the MCU where you can just relax and chill out, and he makes you laugh so much. I'm thinking about in Ant-Man and the Wasp, the montage of him when he's in lockdown in his house and he's just doing different things, whether it's playing Rock Band or bowling in his house. Like, there's a lot of aspects to love about him. You just want to give Ant-Man a hug. Like, does anybody have any orange slices? So before I give you guys my top 5, definitely let me know down below your favorite MCU heroes. You agree with my list? You disagree? I love talking all things MCU, so let me know down below. But coming in at number 5 for me is going to be Black Widow, the main girl herself, who should have had her own solo movie by now, and that movie should have come out by now. She looks so badass in the new movie. I cannot wait for Black Widow. Her entrance in Iron Man 2 is one of the best superhero entrances for sure. She's just kicking ass, and Happy is struggling with one guard. She takes out all the rest of them. I've always liked her. I think she's very empowered and just one of the best female characters of all time when it comes to comic book movies. Her death is so tragic. It really does hit you in the feels, especially on rewatch, because the first time I saw it, I was like, no way. I wasn't crying. I was like, no way. Marvel's not going to kill her. Well, she was dead, and I didn't know that, so when I rewatched it, it hit way differently. But her solo movie is long overdue. She's such a cool character, and while she doesn't have the powers of, say, Captain America, Thor, or Hulk. I still think her presence is very necessary in the original 6, and I love her whenever she's on screen. Coming in at number 4 for me is going to be someone you probably thought was going to be in the top 3, but not today. Not today. Captain America, Steve Rogers himself. Now, I like Cap quite a bit. Especially, I mean, look at that. I got the Funko Pop back here when he has that epic moment in Endgame where he wields Mjolnir. Of course, he says Avengers Assemble. He's lots of people's number 1. I totally get it. For me, I was just so irritated with Cap in Civil War and certain earlier MCU movies where he was just such a straight, hard-headed personality that I couldn't get on board with it. Like, other people were trying to give input and he would just be like, no, I got my way, I gotta stick to it. And you know, I respect people for sticking to their opinions, but it was annoying me so much in Civil War how he was just so blinded to follow Bucky. Oh, I gotta be with Bucky. Like, I don't know how Cap is just holding on to this relationship for so long. Like, he was under the ice for 70 years. It's been like 100-something years. I get it, but like, he's way too buddy-buddy with Bucky in my opinion. I know I'll probably get some heat for this in the comments, but their relationship hasn't been my favorite. So Cap, while he is so awesome, especially by the end of it all, his entrance on Infinity War when he catches the spear in the train station is so epic, and I really do think he has some of the best moments. I still like some of the moments of his relationship with Bucky. Sometimes it was just like, my gosh, just chill for a second, man. But still, Cap is a great MCU character, and his finality when he passes on the shield to Sam Wilson, it's perfect. I think he has a brilliant ending. Coming in at number 3, now this is where I'm going to get some dislikes, some hot takes. I don't care. It's going to be Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man, the character, and I think Tom Holland portrays Peter Parker the best we've ever seen on live action. So I had to put him at number 3. I love this character so much. His entrance in Civil War, his introduction is perfect to me. The only thing that's missing is I wish he said with great power comes great responsibility, but we can't get what we want sometimes in this world. We got to move on. Homecoming is a blast of a coming-of-age movie, and his character has struggles as he has to figure out who he is without the suit. And then in Far From Home, yeah, there's a lot of flaws with Far From Home, but I think that him having to go at it with Mysterio is awesome. And when he gets hit by the train and has that moment where he has to realize that Tony Stark is like a father figure to him and he embraces that, I really do enjoy that. Now, a lot of people say he needs to be Spider-Man, he needs to be himself, and I get that, but with this version of Spider-Man we're getting, Iron Man was such a huge influence to the guy, he almost was like the Uncle Ben, if you know what I'm saying, so him wanting to fully embrace that role makes total sense to me. I would like for him to have his own villain moving forward. That's the only thing, is the other two villains more of a vendetta against Tony instead of Spidey. I think we'll get that in the future. He's going to be on his own in this next movie, so we'll see what happens. He just embodies that high school kid that I can relate to so much. Coming in at number 2 for me is going to be the God of Thunder himself, Thor. Now, this character was never up there for me until Ragnarok, when they completely flipped this character on its head with Taika Waititi taking the director's chair, throwing some improv, some comedy, right from the start in that movie when he's in the cage. You know something's a little different as he's cracking jokes, and I was laughing in the theater early on. Like, they really changed his character for the better. And then you get a lot of his character in Infinity War with Rocket, and then in Endgame when he's Fat Thor. I've always liked Fat Thor. I think it works, especially for the character arc. He feels terrible. He should have went for the head. It makes sense that he would kind of become this alcoholic and just kind of sit out and be lazy. I think that makes perfect sense for his character. I do get that early on in the MCU he's not the best, but with Love and Thunder right around the corner and the improvements in his character arc and writing, he's become a scene stealer to me, and I do love Thor. And when he has Stormbreaker and Mjolnir and he's fighting Thanos, you gotta love it. But coming in at number 1 for me, my favorite MCU hero of all time is going to be Iron Man. Tony Stark, rest in peace. I'm still gonna put him at my top. I know that he's dead and people say you need to pick a new one who's alive. I don't care. I watched this movie so much, the first Iron Man. I talk about it all the time, how much I've seen it. It has such a strong impact on me. I loved it. It let my imagination run wild as a kid. And Tony Stark's a character that I've always loved. Yes, he's snarky, but I've always loved that about him. It's like, this guy's an a-hole, but he's relatable and he kind of has heart to him. And by the end of the MCU, he goes from being that selfish a-hole that a lot of people viewed him as to being selfless and the savior of the universe as he snaps, takes his life so that everyone else could live. And it's just a very powerful moment. His funeral and the aftermath of it all is gut-wrenching, especially the moment with Happy and Morgan. Cheeseburgers gets me every time. His role in the MCU is unmatched. He is the most important character so far, and it's interesting to see if he'll ever come back. I don't think he will, but Iron Man is the best. I love you 3000. Rest in peace to a legend. So that's going to do it for my top 10 favorite MCU heroes. Definitely hit the like button and comment down below your favorite MCU heroes. Do you agree with my list? Do you disagree? I always love talking about things like this in the comments down below, so don't be afraid to comment down below. Also, let me know if you want to see me do my top 10 MCU villains. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. It would mean the world. I got a lot of MCU content planned. WandaVision is in full force, and I can't wait for the Falcon Winter Soldier. We're not that far away. So stay tuned for all that content coming soon, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.